while still working on CBS, because this Valentine thing was not so much here. I don't know where out of the blue Peter Sematimba began this whole Valentine. If you're to trace the origin, this hype of Valentine in Uganda, one man we should gain seriously is Honorable Peter Sematimba, because from there this Valentine thing began growing day by day. But one thing that hurts is what Felix has said. Women are accustomed to either buying a wallet or stockings, you know, or something very, very small, and that's what they give in return. Yet where Valentine came from, I don't know its history very well, but it has an inclination of the church, and of course my would-be priest Felix knows better that.
Maybe put that disclaimer. You should not take the whole docket of women are prone to giving this. That is just a smaller
Science
percentage.
Has proved
that's a smaller
that majority
women have actually gone
just
ahead
go
to give
I'm a man, and I'm speaking on behalf of men. Where I have
for the women
talk,
that you've received from.
But 90% of the men will tell you, I gave this amount, or this is how much I gave. This is what they got, and Felix can allude to this and testify to this.
Yeah, I can.
Really?
Most of the women, of the men, yes.
It's not about me, Jesus.
I'm telling you.
It's about the reality that happened.
It's the reality,
Mollen.
yes.
Well, that is the previous reality. I don't know your realities, guys.
Mollen, how many women, let's be honest.
Gone ahead to give
let's be honest.
Gifts. It's
how
just,
many women are going to
notion.
gift cars? Like you've said, women get number plates, get...
Oh, we just recently saw the Speaker of Parliament gift a car. What are you talking about? Isn't she a woman?
Now, don't talk about extraordinary women.
Let's
talk about
exactly.
the average
This is why I was telling you, don't say every woman.
You know, but majority of the women think Valentine is for them to receive.
And there's nothing wrong with that, though.
The men, if they give very funny gifts. So for me personally, I'm not taken by that hype, competing. Why would I compete to give?
Actually, those days are people who don't have stuff to do. You're busy man.
Okay. The negativity from this man about Valentine is something that you should be concerned about.
But about competition.
Let me get you into the real spirit of Valentine's. Share love, celebrate love.
Yes,
this
but
is a weekend for you to actually, because it's going to be on a weekday. So maybe take the weekend to actually take someone you love out. Gifting is about caring. It's the sentiment that counts. Even if you're giving stockings, even if you're receiving stockings, it should be the sentiment that counts. Since they are actually giving you something, we're celebrating love, we're celebrating being together. And also people should know that Valentine is not about really partners, someone, people who are in love. You can celebrate someone you really love in your life. It could be your mother, it could be your sibling, anyone that you actually care about. It is the spirit of celebrating love. We're not saying it should be that only love that you're celebrating. So guys, don't spread negativity.
Actually,
people are in the moods to celebrate, especially if they have some finances.
We need to be intentional about this. Valentine's, you see this whole thing of you trying to mix and say, your Valentine can be your mother. No. What is Valentine? That is for affectionate lovers. Read the history of this day. Don't just say, my daughter. How can that be? Valentine's was cut out for affectionate lovers. You read the story of Saint Valentino. The beauty is that you're a Catholic, and how this day came into ordaining.
It wasn't about
no, it was about that, because what happened? This saint was imprisoned, and because the reason for his imprisonment was about his ministry, about family and marriages. And even when he went to prisons, he made way to start putting marrying couples even when he was in prison. So it has a lot to do with people who are intimate love. People who lately have started to say your mother can be your Valentine.
That's not lately. That culture started long time
but
ago.
Anyway, away from this whole
before you leave that, Felix,
before
you leave that, because I think some people are taken, if you're not going to receive gifts and you're so much into showbiz, be a good, send them for yourself.
But
go buy this banquet, do decoration. Then if you want, because some people are even going to go into depression. Because
the problem with that, Robert, is this.
Simple things.
For example, imagine we are working together like this.
And Mollen has received flowers.
And then Mollen, you go and buy yourself flowers.
And they bring them delivery.
Okay, don't use me as an example, because I wouldn't buy myself flowers.
No, it's just an example.
Okay, workmate.
Then you're excited.
Okay.
No, another example.
Because what happens as a workmate, maybe I have interest in Mollen. Now, when she does such a thing, the first thing that my mind will run to is probably there's somebody in her life. Like, that's the worst thing about masquerading. Like, just be real, honestly. If you have someone who appreciates you that far, it's okay. Enjoy the day, be happy.
And if you don't,
but don't push it.
Still okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just a couple of hours. Like, as I've told you, some of us, it's not a big deal, and I'm honest. And that is how I feel about it. I'm not saying don't feel. People who can give whatever Mollen was talking about, we have number plates, blah, blah, and all that kind of thing. Some of the other men who don't think this is a big deal because it's been perceived to be a Women's Day, and that's the era we have gotten.
No, it's not.
But anyway, we'll have
also gifting at the same time.
What's the ratio anyway? Out of 10 women versus... So anyway, but I think it is a society challenge that we just have to deal with, that women always think they're supposed to be receiving. But it's okay. They're our women and we love them that way. But anyway, speaking about other stories, Friday it is, and there are very, very many activities coming up. The whole of the last 2 weeks I've seen a geared up approach by one of the biggest musicians in Uganda. That is Joseph Mayanja, who has, I think, his show today, 10th. At the Cricket Oval. That's a show, what Robert said, that is Gwanga Muje. I've seen lots of activities towards him. Towards this, I saw him doing a couple of practices with different artists and what. But this particular show has raised lots of eyebrows. I don't know for what reason. Is it because it's Joseph Mayanja and what, or because the hype he has put in his show? But is there anything particular you want to say about this guy?
I guess for me, it's just the iconic nature of his music. He has branded himself really well. He's a legend, and whether you want or not, he will take that title. And just a few hours ago...
What do you think qualifies him to be a legend, in your opinion?
He has actually led a trend in music when it comes to Ugandan music. He has set a pace that I think a lot of artists have been inspired by his music to even get to the platforms that they are. That makes you a legend, having laid a legacy of a certain music style in Uganda. And like I was saying, just a few hours ago, I was seeing a video of him at where they are preparing for the concert, and it was an emotional moment between him and Bebeko. And I was looking at that and like, in my mind, I'm like, what are they, like, what is the emotional part there? I think probably going back into how they started the music and seeing that Jose Chameleone is now at that level, or, you know, doing this Gwanga Muje concert, that must have been something that was running through their minds, because it was a long, almost 2 minutes or 3 minutes of hugging and emotional moment between him and Bebeko. I was seeing that, I'm like, yes. So these are the people that have laid a foundation to music stars in Uganda. And Jose Chameleone has gone beyond Uganda. You will go to Congo and you will see people singing to Jose Chameleone's music, Tanzania, Kenya. So I think it has been a whole mixture of East African flavors that he did bring to the music industry. And for that, he has to be celebrated as an icon.
I don't know if these things Mollen is saying on set, but off set, there's a conversation we had. I'm like, okay. Robert, do you think Joseph is a legend?
I want to reaffirm what Mollen said. Jose Chameleone is a legend. People who have been around here, the Congolese used to come here and take a lot of money from Ugandans.
When was that, Robert?
It was your days.
The 70s.
But when Jose Chameleone came on the music scene, he's the man we can credit Okugoba music waba Congo. That continuous, because he showed Ugandans that we also can do something. We can do our music. Then second, musicians come and go. You know, you can mention musicians that cannot even stand on any events, sing for 3 people. But Chameleone has been there. I don't know how old that guy is. But from that time I began to understand Chameleone's music. He was there, he's been there. You can't put him among Abayimbi Abagwa. You know artists, Uganda music industry. Someone will bring a hit, 2, 3, blah, 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 Johnny Black and the entire Uganda, blah, 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 na, 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 na. Then another one will come. But maintaining that year after year, time after time, that you're still moving with the storm in the music industry makes him a legend. For over 20 years, Jose Chameleone is still standing. So for me, I look at him as one of the greatest in the music industry in Uganda. And this show in particular, you know, now we are 2022, we had a number of music shows. The likes of Spice Diana, we had Juliana Kanyomozi, we had Shiba, And yes, I think the last was Spice Diana coming into this year. But now there's some competition that is coming up right from the stage. Then it all comes to the audience that you have. Are you Ochikubi? Have you had the people come? So for a legend like Jose Chameleone, remember these are young kids that have staged and they have been successful, all of them. So it means so much. Is he still pulling the crowd, or is it just a myth? So this is going to prove to him, is he still among the greatest? Because for me, I would say he is among the greatest. But in case this flops, then that will mean so much. That, oh, these three, because one may not be able to have a successful show. Yeah. Because the three mighty, in my opinion, you have Bebe Cool, you have Chameleone, you have Bobby Wine. So this is going to mean much. Are we still having them in the myth, or are they still powerful and hold grip to ground when they stage such these concerts?
I think there's a conversation we're having with Felix that Felix referred to, because you also, Robert brought in an idea of the audience. As a musician, where is your audience? Because yes, he's a legend, but also there is a generational thing with the new artists or with the millennials. So you think that you would expect a lot of old people to be at his concert or who have been there for his music, but in the spirit of talking about him as a legend, I think his music relates to almost everyone. It is cross-generational. That's what creates a difference, that you will still find that even young people would want to go for his shows. And also I think you look at some of these artists. Right now, we're talking about artists going on stage and they cannot even sing their own music. You have backup singers actually doing the singing, and then the stage performance is poor. And I think this is a conversation that has been going on social media. After one artist had a concert just recently, is are musicians really singing their songs? Do they even know what to do on stage? But you look at such legendary musicians that have actually been doing that right from when they didn't have even the technology to integrate their voices into the music on stage. And this is the one man that could actually pull that off without any talks whatsoever. So that creates a difference.
I'll tell you something about Chameleone that I know personally. I first met this guy when I was, I think, in S5, personally, when I got to know him personally. But for all the time I've known him, I don't think I have met a talented person in terms of music like Mayanja for the whole of my life. And this you can't know unless you have taken time to understand him. You know, if you listen to the story of Chameleone and Chaga, way back, I think in '97, when they first went to Nairobi, Chaga would tell you that that guy left Uganda and went to Nairobi, and it took him 1 month being with Ogopa DJs there, and he had learnt everything about production in 1 month. So the only thing he needed to come back and do Arrange Live, and did a production, which was, I think, the biggest song of the day. That was Mamma Mia. And he has never gotten back from that point. So many things he has done, so many artists he has brought on the block. He has sung so many songs across the world. I think the best way for us as a country to honor this old man is to be there for Gwanga Muje today and celebrate Chameleone. He's one of the icons we don't ever want to unwrite his story in this country. People will say he has his challenges with character, but who doesn't anyway? But anyway, we'll be looking at our stories, of course, locally, internationally, and later on we'll be getting into a discussion. But also expect to have some good vibes on Good Morning Uganda, making it a Friday special edition. Now we will look at the stories, starting with the local stories. Robert.
We'll begin with the UCE results that were out yesterday. Now, they registered better performance than the previous years. Uganda National Examination Board released the results for 2022 Senior 4 examinations, with male students performing better than the female students. The candidates performed better, with failure rate dropping by 1.0% compared to the previous years. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, officiated at the release of the examinations at an event held at State House, Nakasero.
Now, the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, did reaffirm our government's commitment to support solving the problems of special interest groups, including those faced by persons with disabilities. Now, she was officiating at the Leadership and Mindset Change course organized by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Leaders of Persons with Disabilities at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanze. At the same function, the leaders of people with disabilities endorsed President Yoweri Museveni for 2026.
Moving on, Sere nomination exercise. So far, 2 candidates have been successfully nominated on the first day in Sere district to vie for the Sere County parliamentary seat in the by-election slot, which fell vacant late last year following a sudden death of Patrick Okabe. Aunts Alice Alaso and late Okabe's son Emmanuel Omoding Okabe contesting as independent candidates are the only 2 that were nominated yesterday.
Now, the Board of National Social Security Fund has faced division over the 1.8 billion shillings budget for corporate social responsibility in an afternoon engagement with the Parliament Select Committee investigating NSSF saga. The board members failed to account for the 1.8 billion, which later turned out as a cash bonanza to the top stakeholders of NSSF. Some board members denied participating in the breakdown of the funds, which fueled confusion in the investigation.
And now crossing over onto the international scene, more than 20,000 people are now known to have been killed in Monday's earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, though the UN warns that the disaster's full extent is still unclear. Rescuers are still searching rubble for survivors, but hopes are fading almost 100 hours since the tremors struck. Freezing conditions threaten the lives of thousands of survivors who are now without shelter, water and food. Turkey's president called the quake the disaster of the century. A major international relief effort is gathering pace, and on Thursday the World Bank pledged $1.7 billion in aid to Turkey's, including immediate finance for rebuilding basic infrastructure and to support those affected by the earthquakes. But the efforts of 100,000 or more rescue personnel on ground are being hampered by a number of logistical hurdles, including vehicle shortages and devastated roads. And in North Korea on Wednesday, night lines of monster missiles rolled through the North Korean capital, that is Pyongyang. But it was not just his weapons at Kim Jong-un was parading. On the show too was his daughter. As the North Korean leader took up his usual parade position at the center of the balcony, he was joined unusually by a young girl dressed in black. She is thought to be his second oldest child, called Kim Joo-hee, aged around 10 years. This is the 5th public appearance she has made, and all in less than 3 months. During the short time, she has undergone a remarkable transformation, making it increasingly likely she has been chosen as the future leader of North Korea. When she first appeared back in November of last year at the launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, speculation was rife and many whispered, would this girl one day lead the world's most secretive state? But at this time, it was far too big as a leap to make. The Nigerian National University Commission has ordered the country's universities to close from 22nd February to 14th March because of the general election, which will be held on 25th of February. The decision follows concerns about the safety and security of staff and students during the poll. Now, the NUC comes under a Federal Ministry of Education and was given the order by the Education Minister Adamu, according to the local media. There has been concern about whether the election will be able to go ahead as planned on 25th of February because of the ongoing insecurity problems in the country. And in climate news, researchers studying the decline of coral reefs caused by climate change have found that while cloud cover may delay mortality, it won't be enough to save coral from mass bleaching. In the study published in the journal PLOS Climate, researchers led by Dr. Pedro Gonzalez Espinosa, a researcher at UBC's Institute for Ocean and Fisheries, generated bleaching prediction algorithm using historical sea surface temperatures, cloud cover, and shortwave radiation data. Using this data, they created 4 different future climate scenarios, and the results show that in the low carbon emission scenario, clouds could absorb solar radiation and they delay bleaching frequency by decades over some regions. Yet more than 70% of coral reef cells will still experience dangerously frequent bleaching conditions by the end of the century.
Well, of course, we do take another look at the papers where we see the Daily Monitor, and it's all covered by UCE best schools and students. They give you faces and of course the schools and the grades they got for that matter, but of course also schools ranking best in Division 1, and okay, they give you basically the insight about these pupils, actually students, not even pupils, but inside this, the papers, whistleblowers in NSSF probe contradict self, and how TikToker defies odds to pass exams.
And also in the New Vision, they give you the best UCE students, a list right there, and the faces of those that actually performed the top. Also giving you the top districts. I see Mukono, Bushenyi, the mighty Bushenyi right there. That is excitement for me. Rubirizi following the line, and Wakis of course comes fourth, but a whole list right there. And also another story, I was under pressure to increase budgets. That is Biarugaba. That is a detailed story on page 2, of course, following up on the NSSF saga, and more details in that.
Now, of course, you'll be able to get yourself copies of these papers, and you'll get the insight of what's in the papers. But we will go take a break. When we come back, we will be having a discussion as we wait for our performance. We'll be having a performing artist, songwriter, and also storyteller. I can't wait to hear what she has to offer. But before that, let's take a break. We'll be back to have a discussion, quite insightful and equally engaging for you on this Friday.
This is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There is no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Monga and Tayebo?
That is laughable.
Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only by one MP, you yourself and my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. It's One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
We bring you a fresh, well-researched program to help you identify opportunities for investment, job creation, growing your entrepreneurial skills, wealth creation, and social transformation.
We have a product that is ready for schools, supermarkets.
Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Every week we showcase opportunities for creating new products and services.
I now harvest a lot of cocoa. When I harvest it, I sell. After selling, I put money in my project. I have 2 projects. One is for construction of my house. 2 is for educating my children.
Excellence in innovation, the passion and drive to succeed, and the right mindset to grow your business. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Brought to you by Operation Wealth Creation.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network. We bring you a fresh, well-researched program to help you identify opportunities for investment, job creation, growing your entrepreneurial skills, wealth creation, and social transformation.
We have a product that is ready for schools, supermarkets.
Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Every week, we showcase opportunities for creating new products and services.
I now harvest a lot of cocoa. When I harvest it, I sell. After selling, I put money in my project. I have 2 projects. 1 is for construction of my house, 2 is for educating my children.
Excellence in innovation, the passion and drive to succeed, and the right mindset to grow your business. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Brought to you by Operation Wealth Creation.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number and you send it to her chap chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera. Refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Uliniona last weekend, ulisema natembea kama princess. Say you saw me from a distance. You killing me, boy. Wanoendi, I'm confused. Omutima ogwambusa tempo. You look like John Rambo. I'm loving it, boy. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble, boy. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble. You set me on fire. My heart is on fire. Don't you ever retire. Oli hadi targeti okukwetiza wali kumaketi. Baby oli aseti okufuna na mala kukola budgeti. Your heart is made of gold, are you? Are you feeling me? Are you deep down? Yeah. Hey, are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble, boy. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble. Are we the baddest couple? Me now I double trouble, boy. You set me on fire. My heart is on fire. Don't you ever retire. Hey, you set me on fire. My heart is on fire. Don't you ever retire. Uliniona last weekend. Hey, say you saw me from a distance. You killing me, boy. Last weekend. Say you saw me from a distance. You killing me, boy. Baddest couple. Me now I double trouble. I with the baddest couple. Me now I double trouble, boy. I with the baddest couple. Me now I double trouble. I with the baddest couple. Me now I double trouble, boy. You set me on fire. My heart is on fire. Don't you ever retire. You set me on fire. My heart is on fire. Don't you ever retire. Yeah. 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 Da 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 da.
Good morning, Uganda.
I wanna take the chance to remind you that you shine like the colors of the rainbow. Tabasamu lako ni angaza mji na uwezo wako unarudisha matumaini. So rude like the king that you are. Olyo mugwe tosangika. Reign like the queen that you are. Na Mungu libarikiwa. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. And you are beautiful. Listen, just the way you are. I say you are. You're beautiful. You are beautiful. And you are beautiful. Just the way you are. You're like blue skies on a sunny day. You are the topping on a nice cake. Your strength lies in you never giving up. Kushindwa si mbaya, kuwageuza unalotaka kuona duniani. So rude like the king that you are. Olyo mugwe tosangika. Reign like the queen that you are. Na Mungu libarikiwa. You are, you're beautiful. You are, you're beautiful. And you are beautiful. Just the way you are. I say you are beautiful. You are beautiful. And you are just the way you are. You can't hide it. Shining your light, they ain't ready. Shining your light brighter. Yeah, shining your light brighter. I see you are beautiful. Beautiful, and you are beautiful. Just the way you are. I say you are beautiful. You are beautiful, and you are beautiful. Listen, just the way you are.
You're singing about? Was it you singing to yourself or?
I mean, at some point I was singing to myself.
Okay.
Because when I wrote that song, I was feeling really bad about myself. So I was like, yeah, I was writing to myself to remind myself, but also in a way for my listeners, not just me.
Well, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good morning.
How are you, Lamu? Is it?
I'm good.
Did I say it right?
Yes, Lamu.
Is it a short of something?
Yes, my real name is Ahlam. It's a Muslim name. Ahlam.
Where is your veil, for example?
My veil. This is my veil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ahlam.
Yes.
Good to meet you. The song was really nice.
Thank you.
And the first one was Double
Trouble.
Double Trouble.
Yes.
For who now? The
Double Trouble is just for the lovers. Yeah, you have to double the trouble.
In terms of
Kabuyo
or in terms of like
no, in terms of, okay, you know how a bad thing can mean a good thing? Like
no,
you're so
I don't
bad.
know actually.
Or you're so bad, you're so bad. Yeah, yeah, like it's a good thing, but technically it means a bad thing. So Double Trouble is a good thing.
For the lovers.
Yes.
We're going sort of like going close to Valentine's. That's a discussion you don't want to go into. You wish you were here earlier. But anyway, we're going to be having more discussions with Lamu. Of course, we're going to be also part of our discussion as a Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. We'll be talking about family. Now, where's the balance between legitimate and illegitimate families? There's been a couple of controversies. Most times when we're talking about succession, who should take this, who shouldn't take this, probably it's something we need to get into the discussion. And of course, me, my colleague Robert, Mollen, and Lamu will be having this discussion. We do hope that you'll be joining in also on our social media platforms, on WhatsApp, and also on Facebook, YouTube, also on Twitter, to tell us your thoughts about where is the balance, legitimate and illegitimate families. We're going to take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Ginger Tea drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera. Refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
We bring you a fresh, well-researched program to help you identify opportunities for investment, job creation, growing your entrepreneurial skills, wealth creation, and social transformation.
We have a product that is ready for schools, supermarkets.
Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Every week, we showcase opportunities for creating new products and services.
I now harvest a lot of cocoa. When I harvest it, I sell. After selling, I put money in my project. I have two projects. One is for construction of my house. Two is for educating my children.
Excellence in innovation, the passion and drive to succeed, and the right mindset to grow your business. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Brought to you by Operation Wealth Creation.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning once again and welcome back to Good Morning Uganda, now Friday edition. It is Friday, 10th. Again, I know my friend was telling me today is called Gwanga Muje. I don't know if the day has been cut off for that in particular, but nevertheless, we're here to give you some good vibes for Friday. We did have a performance by Lamu. She did give us something called Double Trouble, and she said there's something. Did you say hard love? Something. I was trying to get my head around what you said. Something bad can be.
Yeah, a bad thing can mean a good thing. I don't know how to say it.
Like when the Baganda say that umusigo yo amani okubedo, like.
Our lover.
Yes.
Yes.
You've heard of that? That kind of. Okay. Yes. That makes. There's a lady next to you. She's called Mollen, Kenyena. Yes. She's also good enough. Both of you are climate activists. They call themselves.
I'm not an activist. I am a climate change communicator. I'm more of a climate scientist and communicator.
What's the difference?
Yeah. There is a difference. Activists
are on the streets.
Yeah.
So you've been on the streets for that?
I mean, I haven't.
Online?
Yeah, I have been on the online streets. But I see myself more as an educator.
In terms of climate change?
Yes, because I realized, for example, most Ugandans didn't know about climate change. So it's about having some kindness towards it, not screaming at people and forcing them. Sometimes people don't understand, so you have to educate them. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Now, on the extreme side, we have Robert. Robert is an activist for canine. For him, he does dogs. Yeah, he's a dog person. Anything about dogs. And you know what is Mastiko? Mushroom.
Oh.
He's also an activist. I don't know if they also have activists. Mushroom.
He
has specialities in those areas. So
would I take the opportunity to introduce Felix to you?
No.
Please do. Please. Okay, you've been
not allowed. So no, Robert. So today, guys, we're going to be talking. I don't know about Lamu will be telling us how, if it's okay with her, about her life and family. But we have a topic quite controversial, and this springs from the many acts we've seen most recent. A wash of social media. Some videos came out a couple of days ago. There have been discussions about DNA, discussions about, this kind of what we call legitimacy and illegitimate families. Where do we strike the balance? How do we close this gap? The friction between what are seemingly legitimate kids and illegitimate kids. What happens when there's attestation or succession? We have had all these challenges, and some of us have experienced even them go to the extreme. Some people have lost lives because of this. Is it a problem of men who get different families? Is it a problem of women who accept to be part of, who's to blame, whose responsibility, and how do we deal with this friction? So, and this one I would want to, I'll start with the lady. Maybe I'll just bring in, let me start with Mollen actually, then I'll come to the rest of us. Legitimacy and illegitimate. In your opinion, away from the law and what would qualify one to say that this is a legitimate family, this is not, away from, because the law comes in, and it says, once you're married under the law, that is a legitimate family. But how do you strike the balance? And these kids, there's been a big friction about that. What you say?
Well, I think we also have to take into consideration that as you talk about family or legitimacy, you're talking about the parents, fine, or the circumstances to which they are together, whether married, whether still cohabiting, and this is something that we've also talked about in the recent past. But you bring in the kids here, and they now become a key bond to that family. And so when we bring in issues of, you know, having DNA or this is just, you know, confirmation when things are not going right in a particular family. But we do know that having kids for a family that has been together, it might include more than just, you know, your biological kids. It could be adopted kids, and this is something that, a process that can be really, you know, very clear, and someone might have to go to the extent of going to baby homes or, you know, most of those services that offer adoption services. So yes, you can have a child that way, but also it brings in the idea of unfaithfulness in homes. Because now you're looking at a situation where it could be a family, maybe one person chooses to go outside, but when they have a child, they're not going to come and be open about it. Most of them won't be open about it. And the child is brought to this world. They are innocent of whatever deeds you made. But then as a parent, or as two parents, even when someone gets to know about it, how do you now raise this child? So I think the legitimacy bit of it might be confusing if you're talking about situations that result from mistrust, from unfaithfulness, and that puts the kids in the middle of the whole idea or the whole situation at that. So I think what we have to consider is, what is the basis of us having kids in the first place? You could have conversations about the fact that you get together, boy meets girl, you get married, and then all of a sudden, one of you cannot have kids. And at that point, most people are not going to be open about it, or they're going to be in denial about it. You will hear circumstances where a man can't have kids, and then they actually go outside, they still can't have kids there, but they are not open about it with their wives. And now this woman is seated at home, and she's thinking, maybe it's my problem. First of all, he says he's okay, and some of them are even afraid to take the tests honestly to confirm whether they can't have kids, and they are forced to go outside just to please their partner. And before you know it, you actually bring this child, and probably even this man is already aware that he can't have kids. He knows this kid is not his, and that's how the pretense in the families comes in. But later they can't take it, and then they're like, maybe not. So I think that's the whole dilemma that we might have to focus our discussion on.
Wow. Yeah. That example you gave is indeed a dilemma. And it's quite a hard puzzle. And I'll be honest with you, I have I have faced one scenario of that kind. And I met this person somewhere where I do a bit of, we're doing, I think, going to do tennis, and just in the evening. And one of the men I met in the changing room, I met the man shivering, like shaking, and almost crying tear. I'm like, bro, what's up? You sure you're good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Like, you're sure? You don't, okay, like, why do you keep on panting and what? And then he told me, anyway, man, let me just tell you, I did DNA today. And the two kids at home are not my kids. I'm like, yo.
Like, why did you do DNA in the first place?
I couldn't ask that. but from that example I just gave, it's where I want to bring in Robert as a man. Would you do DNA? Let's just start there.
That's a hard one.
Felix. You people. Death is not very far.
But by that you mean what, Robert?
Let me tell you, this topic I just present are not watching.
They are, Robert, they are.
No, as long as you're honest, they won't get hurt.
Now, let me tell you, we are all human beings. Yeah?
That is not a question.
And Felix, I don't have a straight answer for you. Okay, unless Parliament helps us and government of Uganda passes a law. Because personally, I lost a relative, and this is a true story. I lost a very darling uncle of mine. How did he die? He was still at a certain hotel. Someone comes up to him and tells him when will you give me my child? Yes, in one of the top hotels, because he was well off. He looked at the guy claiming all his life he had never heard of his son, who was at university by then, because this guy had been blessed with only 2 children.
Oh my God.
His son was at university. He looked at this man, like you look at Felix, and you have a son and has those big eyes and that board, and you're like, maybe someone in the family. Right?
Yeah, Felix had to come in there.
Felix Nkunda comes to you and says, Robert,
that's a very unfair.
Now you look at Felix, but truly speaking, our family, we may have these 4 heads, but Amasoga Felix, you try to condemn there's a judge somewhere, oh Felix, oh the wife tells you, I have an uncle who has big eyes. So he said, okay, because he was wealthy, he went, I think he picked something and then took, there is a hospital around Korolo, you know, that does DNA. So he took, I think it was hair or something, the results came back. They gave him 7 working days. But even before the results came back, I think he had begun, they say, he had begun losing something. So when he picked the results, he sat in his car. We found him when he was going to be with the Lord at Zana. And what were there were the results in the envelope.
Okay, so clear Robert won't do DNA. That answers the question.
Unless it's made compulsory. I'm not saying I don't trust my partner, but I'd never seen.
Do you think people who do DNA don't trust their partners? Do you think it's an issue of trust?
Yeah, that's my
because
question. Definitely
why would you do? Let me ask the ladies here. Allow me, Felix.
Yeah, sure, please.
Would you let your husband? Would you feel comfortable if your man maybe and when men do DNA today, when we do DNA, those that dare, they hide the results. But in case
even if you don't go very far with that question, personally, I would feel very comfortable. I mean, what is there to hide? You've been with your man
because you say
no, because this is actually what I was saying at the very beginning.
So if your husband told you, let's take our children for DNA,
we better focus the discussion of what leads to that kind of situation. How do you get there? Testing for DNA. You're married to, only one of you is getting pregnant. So obviously they should know who the dad is. So by the time this woman is going out, what led her to go out? Is it that you can't have kids? So I think those are the discussions that we should be focusing on. How do you address a topic of your husband not being able to have kids? Are you able to do the preliminary, scenarios? Go to a hospital.
Firstborn is for the man.
Otherwise, as a woman, you cannot go out to have a child, yet you have a husband at home.
No,
so I think this is something that we have to look at what led to that. What brings in the idea?
No, you see, Mollen, you just can't be dismissive about other factors that surround it. And what Robert is saying is very true. From where you may sit to see things, it may look crazy. But these scenarios are very evident in our families. And he gave you one of the life stories. Whether you want to examine why and how it's all done, the fact that it's there, it's present with us.
For example, Felix, sorry to interject. There's a story trending on social media. This man lived his life, he died, he made a will and said, this is going to be my heir. After some time, some idiot, I'm sorry to use that word, comes out and says, but that son you've made, who has inherited everything, is my child. I was patient because I wanted a peaceful marriage. Never wanted to interrupt this equal. But my blood...
At the time you slept with my wife, you already interrupted.
Yeah, but he says, people. Now they do DNA. This man has gone to be with the Lord or hell, wherever he thinks he has left a lineage. Now they have done DNA. This child never belongs to the man. So the father of this man gets so upset, you know. So sometimes I may even, I may even die when I think I have a son. Let
me just bring in Lamo here, and I'll just be straight in this kind of question. Like, as you try to draw a yardstick between illegitimate and legitimate kids, and the beauty is that you're Muslim, I don't know, or you used to be, or you're still, I don't know, that's for you to tell us. Do you think there should be a line between someone's child in terms of, like, should there be limited privileges because you belong to the, I'll say, first family, or like you're born outside of wedlock? Like, should you think there should be limitation in how you are appreciated, how you grow? Do you think, and probably I love the fact that you're actually, you have a Muslim background.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage? Like, how do you think it's something that's doable?
I mean, personally, my family, my dad, as far as I know anyway, did not remarry, he did not marry outside, he did not have any children outside of him and my mom, right? So,
must have loved your mom. So
yeah, so I mean, I grew up knowing one dad, one mom, and the children, but also we had family members. For us, it's like you said, Muslims, it's okay, they can marry up to 4 wives, but that's still legitimate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So when you cross beyond marriage, it becomes illegitimate. Do I believe that? No, I don't believe that. I think we've had traditional settings, and we're Africans, and we are proud of being African. And even in the mixed families, we're all proud of all those cultures that come in. And some of these cultures do state that legitimacy is marriage, right? The marriage that is accepted, the marriage that is lawful.
Wedlock, yeah.
Yes. So, but I think the world is changing. The way we view things is expanding. Things are changing. That's why we are all here and having these discussions back and forth. Otherwise, we would have all just agreed on one point. But now we have different views. I think I've heard of families, friends of mine, who have grown up and found out they are not actually, their father is not their, the person they've grown up thinking is their father isn't, and it's really, really, really detrimental. Like, they get into depression, they lose a sense of identity. So I think most times we have to think about the innocent one, in quotes, like she had mentioned, the children, before anyone else, because these are 2 adults that whatever happened between them led to this child, whatever didn't happen between them led to this child, and this is an innocent person. Like, they've grown up thinking this is their parent, they've grown up thinking this is their identity. You're telling the person, our family is so and so, you are my son, you are my daughter. They've grown up believing that is who they are, and then that's taken away from them, Who are we to take that away from them? Who are we to take that away from them? Who are we to say, you're now not part of this, you're now not part of this? So I think that's where that line, for me, it's so thin. It's like, I don't think you have to be blood to be family. If you have grown up, we have grown up in a big family, we've raised people's kids, we've raised each other. I think we should start to see family beyond these marriage lines and things like that when it's necessary. But when we talk about things like infidelity, lies, now that's a whole different case, but still the two adults, or the adults that are involved, should kind of separate themselves from the innocent child, that didn't really ask for all this. So, yeah.
And having said that, and brings in something quite interesting about, Mollen did allude to infidelity earlier, something you did, you're bringing in. If we are away from this ideal discussion to hit reality, don't you think, anyway, the reasons why people do the things they do, that's a matter of fact. And as a person from a particular background or profession, I have faced this, and it became real when I became a professional. When I started getting people talk to you about why they want to get divorced. It was like, you could hear people say, people cheat, people what, but, and maybe I'll ask Mollen here. Do you think there's a point where someone can defend infidelity?
I think
that's a good question.
That's a good question. But the reality of it is that the point is already there. They actually defend it. They defend it. If anyone is caught in that situation, I'm telling you, there will be a very quick, I did not know it would get to that. I am very sorry. They will admit, because now they know for sure, or even some of that is after the DNA tests have come out. And you know for sure that this child is not his, or, you know, or the man who has gone outside of the marriage is now bringing a child and saying, you know what, this is my child. I had her or him outside of our marriage. And at that point, as a woman, you just have to accept what is on ground. Now, it is up to you. I'm saying it is up to you to decide what you do with the information, because the fact is he has got another child outside of your marriage. And the same goes for the women as well, because now here is a man who cared for you while you were pregnant, even until the point you gave birth, and they're thinking this is our child. And now it is proof that it's not their child. How do you face something like that? So I think even with the guilt, there are a lot of people that would still want to keep the family, want to keep the marriage and have this child as theirs. Because I've also seen scenarios where men actually get to be the bigger people, especially in a situation where it's the woman who went outside of the marriage. They already have this child, they have raised them as their own, and they now think about the child. This person considers me a father. Now, I am not going to tear this family away because of this particular thing. But at that point, trust is broken. How you move forward as a family from that, even after accepting the situation, won't be the same as before. And I think we've also seen in the past that women have had to put up with the illegitimate children, if you might call it that way. But I don't want to say that, because now this man went outside of the marriage and they had kids outside that. It is still their kid. To them, this is their blood. Whether with you or not, this is their blood. And they are actually entitled. I don't know about the law, what the law says about that. Felix, maybe you would clarify. But as long as it is his bloodline, they are his kids. And women have had to compromise at that level just because they want to also stay. And the man comes up clear and they say, you know what, it happened. And before I knew it, I had this child with this woman, but now I've brought the child home. I'm no longer with this. And it's unfair that this has been happening, and I needed to come clean with you, but the child is here now. It's our child. And women have had to compromise. They stay in these marriages. They don't actually ask for divorce for these things.
Okay. I asked the question earlier. I'm just going to step the gear a bit high with Robert here. And as I give an example, as I bring in Robert, I was doing some work, and I came across a family, and the father had hidden the infidelity of the mother from the kids. So when the kids found out that their mother actually had some, they were so bitter with the mom. Now the dad had to come in to defend the mom. And I like the words the guy said in front of all of us, and he's like, it was just a one-time thing. She wasn't in her right state of mind. You need to forgive your mother. I have forgiven her. And that's why I want to bring in Robert. What, and you can speak as a man, because most recently it's a common trend. We've seen men do a lot of cheating, infidelity, you want to call it. Would you be honest or free enough to talk about what would be the causes why men do these things? Because they're the result as to why we get into situations we are discussing.
Today, Felix, I don't know what
you're speaking for men. You're not speaking for yourself.
What are the causes? I liked how the question was phrased.
Like honestly, what are some of the reasons? Like you'd be like, you know what? Like because of this, I had to do this.
First, let me begin by saying this: men are taken by what they see. Women are taken by what they feel.
Per which research?
These are facts.
Your opinion.
Not my opinion. Okay. Anyone will tell you. Men. That's why you see.
Come again. Men are taken by what
by what they see,
and women
are taken by what they feel.
That's not general, though.
No. Okay. This is me speaking.
Okay.
With my
your
expertise, research, and what I've seen. That's why you'll see men seated somewhere, and this girl comes in, dressed in an enticing way, and you see them next 10 headstand. Someone could even have taken you for a date. You're very smart. You're very pretty, like the two ladies we have here. But then some chick passes through and you have to tap him. Hey, you know, when you move around the streets, you see someone is driving home, not insane people, but then he will park, or you get it. Well, as a woman, it has got to do with how they feel. So, and there are some people who may not even have reasons for why they do certain things. I'm telling you, there are some men that you find and you want to ask, but what is the reason that you're running after this? Ofachi, you know, what is there to offer? And the next day or 3 months is like, deal done and sealed, and you're like, now what was it all about? You know, you have a partner, I don't think there's, so there are some I've come to accept, there are some men who do it, I don't want to say they are demon possessed or what, but that is, but also there are those that may do it. You know, Felix, you've asked me a question. As a Christian and born again, I feel I don't want to say there is any reason why. You get it? People should, men do this, but one, sometimes it is, you discover it wasn't the right person for you. But then there's so much that has gone under the carpet, and you have to keep her.
Oh, him.
Or him, okay. Then sometimes it is all about the lies as people go into relationships. You know, our sisters today, our brothers today, there's so much lies about people. Then the other is how people, away from the lies, is how they happened to have started this relationship. I've seen many families that they never planned to be together. Like you meet a Mollen, you like Mollen, you feel you want to be with Mollen. Most of this modernity and this so much happening around, you get it. People meet each other at Gwanga Muje. This girl, she was wobbling, this, that. Then 2-3 bottles, this one cannot move properly. Then, where do you stay? I stay in Nanku. Like, oh, I stay in Kasubi. I'll drop you on the way in the car. This one, then the following, they're in bed sheets. Then someone is pregnant. Then I stay with my sister. I can't. So they come and begin staying together. It was accidental. You know, the foundation of anything matters. That's what life has taught me. It is very hard for you to start something on a wrong foundation. Felix, you're in this construction. Enyumba bwechama musinji, brother. Even if it can even disturb you when you're having that roof on top of it.
That's true.
So, wrong foundations of relationships, either they're cohabiting or they're in a marriage, the wrong foundation. But also, there's something I've come to understand, that sometimes some men are not able to keep up with successful women. And sometimes some women's success gets to their heads and they forget that really, I'm a man, he's a woman, we must coexist. But also finally, there are some people, you know, Africa, we cherish children, and Mollen talked about this, sometimes due to biological problems. I don't want to go deep into biological problems. The two meet. You know, marriage has a factor, or this situation has cope to produce and all that. These days, there are so many men who have biological issues. That is why you see these herbalists, they are getting rich from there. There are so many women today that have biological issues. And today, we must be honest, by the time someone gets to campus and then gets married, they have had a number of encounters. So he comes to this young man, and the poor man is in the he has complications. And the girl says, I can't keep in this kind of life. You know, I can't have a man who sexually can't do this, who doesn't do this. Then a woman then the man will say, no, I can't have, because people don't get married when they're virgins. They have had encounters, they have experience.
Some.
Just give a percentage. Don't say
do you want me to bring a tester here?
Don't say everyone.
Okay, but that is what life is. So, a Mollen or a Robert says, I can't keep in this. But they may want to hold to their marriage. So they sneak around, they get what they want the other side, and in that process, suddenly God says, you've done enough of this evil. A child has come in. The husband wakes up, this one says, I have your child. The wife maybe checks on her, but this cannot. When I calculate, this is not Robert's child, but the child is present. So, biological issues, foundations of marriages, women success getting to their heads, men, some that fear and fail and can't manage a successful woman. These are some of the factors. And so on a lighter note, sometimes also family. You know, Felix, you could love this woman and you understand her. And most of sometimes mothers and sisters of these boys, you know. So recently I saw even a father who is against the daughter's wish. Muyayu, go muyayu. Sometimes, you know, sometimes parents.
But Robert, those examples you've given, some are really qualified. However, when you take time to discuss, and I want to bring in Lamu here in relation to this that I'm saying, to avoid all some of these aftermaths we suffer with, for example, I don't know how this is, like the kids they bring into our families that are not our kids, as we said earlier, infidelity, like where is the missing link for couples or families or marriages? Because all these things happen after you're together. That's why it's a problem. Because there's no problem with you getting into my life and you find me with my kids. That's not a problem. But the problem comes in when you get the kids when we are together, when you go and have kids with another man when we are together, and sometimes even the problem is not that I can't produce, but because you have found love somewhere, you found affection somewhere. Like, what do we miss to have such scenarios when we are already together?
Yeah.
Like, do you get tired of? I don't know. What do you?
I mean, I think as human beings, it will always happen. Like, no, I mean as human. No, I mean as human beings.
It's probably bound to happen.
Guys, I didn't finish my sentence.
No,
I didn't even finish my sentence.
Don't even try to defend that.
I'm saying, as human beings, it is human nature to err, to stray. We cannot say that because we have religion, because we have law, because we are on TV and we're trying to spread kindness, that everyone that's listening will follow what we are saying. You know, there will always be people that even though they go through all the steps that I'm going to try and mention, they will still stray. They will still find an excuse. They will still find a reason. They will still justify the wrong that they do. I'm just trying to say that as humans, I'm not justifying it. I'm saying it's just facts that we stray. We won't always tell the truth. At some point we'll stray, we'll lie. At some point something will seem like, you should have told me. Why didn't you tell me? People will still do that. They'll still go and stab each other in the back. These things will happen. But again, to bring that, like you said, how do we try and reduce these statistics, right? I think, for me, I've always thought about this actually. And I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's crazy that we go to school to study history and we study English and we study maybe how to make money at some point, we study how to save, we study politics, we study everything, biology, but we stopped, especially now Africans, we stopped learning marriage. We stopped learning marriage.
Should we?
We should.
Why?
We need to, because it's not even about sitting and enduring marriage. It's about understanding what marriage is. I feel like very young people, especially today, are getting into marriages for the wrong reasons. Either pressure, or they just have nothing else going on, or they don't want to be single, or, you know, a social media. Sometimes you can literally see a wedding and you want a wedding because you saw it on social media. I think we're getting into relationships for the wrong reasons. Like, even just dating, we're dating for the wrong reasons. People will date for 5 years and then they will marry, and within the first year of marriage they'll start cheating. But the 5 years we've been together, we've been okay. So
the problem is the marriage now.
I think today we don't have that, like you said, that foundation that teaches us the values of marriage, that teaches us the values of relationships, that teaches us what does it mean to be with someone, what does it mean to be in a relationship with someone, what does it mean to have children with someone, what does, like, all these are things that people should know and should be very aware of, and not just assume, and then we'll start creating excuses. Oh, but you know, as a man I can do this. Oh, but as a woman, because you don't satisfy this, I can do this. Like, I feel like we should be more intentional as people when it comes to marriage. It will really reduce these things. When you learn how to do something, to navigate your way through something, that's when you get options like counseling. Like therapy helps a lot. Like therapy, I'm all for therapy. People don't believe in therapy, but therapy helps a lot. Talking about things, sitting down as a family, talking about things before things escalate. I feel like and I keep bringing up the African traditional society. Not that because it was perfect, but people sat down as families and discussed things. You know, but these days...
Communication is very
important. These days things are left hanging, you know? But they're left hanging a lot.
Don't you think marriage is overrated in African society? And this comes from what... No, like, listening to what you were saying, even relating it to school and what?
Yes.
And this, in my opinion, is one of the biggest challenges that causes pressure. Why we end in positions where people are. We make marriage look like another life achievement. In fact, people have it cut out in countries like Uganda or third world countries that the process of life for you to be successful, you will study, get a degree, get work, get married,
have children. Yes.
And that's the definition of success.
Yes.
Like, I think we have overrated marriage. And the people who don't go necessarily through that line are failures, are bad, are all these other things. But that means now that creates the pressure for you to think that you need to chase this cut out success by some people.
Yes.
And that's how we end up in situations. Now, you may not get the people you actually love. You actually think you can be patient with, you actually think you can forgive easily, because they don't fall in the picture of the other success. And you end up with, like, for example, we have seen people marry people for the different reasons.
Yes.
Some people marry men for things like beards.
Yeah. Height.
I have had,
I want my kids to be tall.
Height?
Yeah.
And for you, in your heart, you've married this man because he's tall.
Discuss height here.
No.
Yeah. It counts.
No, it has nothing to do with Mollen and Robert, by the way, just so you know.
I'm a tall man. Come on.
Well, no one talked about Mollen. You started this. I did say honestly. No, but honestly, and because of the overrating, we end up with the totally wrong reasons. Now, that's what I was trying to bring Robert into when I asked about the reasons for the infidelity thing. And I like the fact that she said it. You cannot stop this. It's like cut out for our being. Error is a part of humanity. But we have situations that aid error more. Secondly, do we need to be honest about something we may fear to discuss, about the clash between modernization and tradition?
Yes.
Trust me, today, if you talked about a professional partner, and let's be specific, women, and you sit men in a room like this and tell them, what's your opinion about marrying a professional partner? And that's modernization or civilization versus tradition. You'll be shocked. You will be shocked. Now, how do you, I think as we fast track towards the end, what are the answers we have to remedy some of this? Because of these things that you have discussed, we have had deaths, we have had violence increase. You've seen most recent.
Yes.
Men are beating their women. Women are beating their men, just so you know. People are killing each other. Kids are suffering, as you said. So how do we get past this? Mollen, starting with you. What do? We just can't be lamenting. Like, what's there for us to pick up the pieces?
Well, I think first of all, I like the idea that she brought out on understanding what marriage is and understanding what a union of two people coming together actually means. I think in the spirit of, we're talking about modern relationship, because you have to agree that the traditional way of relationship has actually gone out of the window. We did have families where whenever you had an issue as you know, wife and husband, you would reach out to your father or your mother or your aunties for counseling or for, you know, advice. But this is no longer the case. Sometimes you actually have your aunties or uncles that probably didn't like the relationship in the first place. So you're not going to go to these people for relationship advice. So now we have to find what is available for us to go to. And she did talk about therapy. But we also know that as Africans, it has not been in our nature to share our problems to strangers.
Yes.
Now this is where the problem is that people have failed to take up therapy or counseling basing off on what was there before. But this is an initiative that people can take. Also, before we get to a situation where you have to require counseling, I think communication is key for any relationship, be it at a dating phase, at, you know, when you're fiancé, when you're husband and wife, you must communicate. If there is something that you're not getting from your partner, you better talk about it and find a way forward, other than you going outside to seek you know, the attention that you need, to seek the affection that you're not getting from this partner. So I think we also have to be very intentional about stuff like that, how you communicate problems in a family. And some of these issues are actually elevated by personal characters. You get married to this man, and Robert did bring it up earlier about how we meet, the foundation of that. You found this man at a bar. He likes to go to the bar. He drinks. Now you went ahead to get married to him, you're thinking he's going to change. And later in a marriage, you're complaining about him being late at the bar. These are things that you should actually have been able to know whether you will keep it or not.
Yeah.
You found him as, you know, he's a party person. He takes trips every weekend, he's out of town. Yes, you agreed to get married, but did you talk about the fact that you want it toned down? And if he does it, is this something that is going to force you to be unfaithful to him? So I think these are some of the things that we need to address. We need to have a self-awareness of, am I going to be able to take this person in? Should things go south, what will I do? Now, having issues or problems in a family is not grounds for you to cheat.
Okay.
So I think people just, you know, get a shelf of, you know, he has been doing this, he's never home, he's drinking, I'm going to go ahead and cheat on him. And you see also the men that go forward for these things, they are pushing problems like, my wife changed, she's no longer affectionate, she's putting all the attention somewhere else, not for me, let me just go out there and find love. And this is just not grounds for you to cheat. Address some of these things. If you can't have a clear communication as wife and husband, make sure that you have outside help.
All right. So
there should be a friend or counselor that you can go to.
Okay. Now, just as we wrap up, Robert, in about a minute or so.
First, I want to say Councillor Mollen said it all very well. But for me, I want to say this. One, when you're in a relationship, expect
to be cheated.
That anything can happen.
Be ready for anything.
Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Out of experience, I've seen people depressed go to Butabika. Such as a day where I lost someone because he discovered that the son wasn't his. Sometimes there is when you think that this person is heaven. Me in relationships, I always have room for anything because, like she said, these are fellow human beings. Love your person, give it your all at the back of your mind. Not that in
expect
case anything happens. Yes, it happens, and life has to move on. Two,
what a marriage
DNA thing. Fellow men, the way I love my children, even if someone woke up and told me that one is not mine, I wouldn't be willing to let them go. Our great fathers and parents,
what if the real dad is claiming them?
A man would raise a child that is not theirs, and they know. Even he tells a close friend, but he keeps the dignity of their family. You get it? But today I don't understand. A man yaps, goes on social media, runs everywhere, and they have done DNA results. Our great fathers knew these children. Then you make this child the victim.
Yeah.
Like the video we saw.
Like the video we saw.
In the morning, Robert was showing me a video. I never took time to open it. It was all over. But Robert in the morning came to me, and it's so.
Yes.
and you look at a bunch of
situations
old
when the
men
parents,
who
the
are
real parents now come for them?
No.
Like what led to the terrible situation he was explaining?
No, but that's
the man
problem.
is coming to say, I want my child back.
Still, you can find a decent way of doing that.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
A man even goes on social media and parades results showing this is not your child.
Anyway, lastly, let me just bring in Madame here. Now, as we close up, there's this challenge we have about how do we perseverance.